Thank you for checking out Lakehead International's videos. You're about to watch one of our Lakehead International live webinars, a fun and informative way to learn more about Lakehead while also meeting faculty, staff, and current students. If you have any questions throughout today's video, please comment below. Otherwise, let's get started.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Lakehead International Live. My name is Jordan Ball. I'll be your host today. First and foremost, I want to take this opportunity and say thank you for joining us, whether this is your first live event or perhaps one of many that you've joined in the past. I'm excited to be your host and looking forward to sharing more details about applying to Lakehead, the admission requirements, and plenty more. In terms of an agenda today, first I'll kick things off with chatting about studying in Canada. Then I'll dive into steps to enrolling. We'll actually go through the undergraduate application guidelines, and then we'll go right on to the online undergraduate application portal. So we'll review how to build an application, and we'll do that step by step essentially. And then we'll shift gears and we'll do the same thing for grad. We'll chat about the guidelines and things to prepare before an application. Then we'll actually go on to the online application portal and we'll review that and go step by step or a walkthrough of how to apply. So plenty to cover in today's session. Kicking things off, though, of course, we like to acknowledge, of course, that you are in a critical time in your life cycle, your student cycle, essentially, where you may need to decide not necessarily just what school to study at, but also where to study in the world. And so, of course, being in Canada, we're extremely proud of our country, and we feel that international students will have the opportunity to thrive in a safe and peaceful and inclusive society. Canada is known as one of the safest countries in the world. And we're also a fairly young country that celebrates diversity and provides international students with an opportunity to essentially feel welcome and happy in this very peaceful nation. We're also quite proud of the rankings that speak to that. So we're top 2 best countries in the world. We're top 11 most peaceful countries in the world. Canada is ranked in the top 5 out of 89 on the list of the best countries for quality of life. So those are just a few things that we're really proud of. But other things that attract students to choose Canada is, of course, the fact that when they choose Canada, they're also choosing employment. So to begin, they'll be able to earn while they learn. International students in post-secondary academic programs are eligible to work in Canada for up to 24 hours per week, and then full-time hours during any academic scheduled breaks, which is really exciting. But when you graduate, all of Lakehead's programs are actually eligible to be considered for the maximum postgraduate work permit program, which is 3 years. So that's exciting because Canada has plenty of career opportunities to offer international students. So whether or not you decide to perhaps go home and use the knowledge, skills, and experience of your Canadian degree, or perhaps pursue employment here in Canada, that postgraduate work permit will enable you to gain professional work experience here. And there's certainly plenty of jobs to be had. And last but not least, we do offer permanent residency options for our international students, and you do receive bonus points or extra points when you complete a Canadian university degree and then go to apply for that permanent residency. So that's something to always factor in. Now, Canada is a very big country, for those of you who don't know. And so we're located in the province of Ontario. We feel Ontario is one of the best options for international students. It already has been self-identified as the #1 destination for international students, and there's some reasons for that, of course. Number one is the fact that our public universities in Ontario are all accredited by the rigorous quality assurances by the Ministry of Advanced Education and Skills Development, which essentially ensures that the programming, the academics, the research that we conduct, all of that is top notch and of the highest quality. We have over 21 universities here in our province alone, so that really does make us as a hub for international students and studying abroad. Something that we're also really proud of as a province is that Ontario's university graduate employment rate is the highest in Canada at 95.1. Now, I will let you know that's Ontario-wide as a employment rate. Lakehead University is actually at 97.4%. So within 2 years, a very large number, or a vast majority, I should say, of our students are actually working, which is pretty incredible. And something to note, of course, in our hometown specifically of Thunder Bay and Aurelia, where our campuses are located, there's plenty of opportunities or ample opportunities for students to find housing both on and off campus. I will note on campus, we actually can guarantee housing for first year students who register by the deadline, which is really exciting. But we just wanted to know that because those are challenges, of course, employment, housing, careers, jobs. Those are the things that people want to ensure that is going to be a strong path forward for them. And here at Lakehead, it certainly is. Shifting gears here and now diving into steps to applying. Today, I have four things to discuss with you. They are listed in a chronological order. However, you can treat them in any order you would like, essentially, because they all will bring you to enrollment. So, number one, in meeting your admission requirements and then meeting your English language proficiency requirements, applying online, and submitting documents. Those are the four steps to enrolling. And diving a bit deeper into those admission requirements, when I say meet, I should also clarify that it could also represent the word or the idea that you understand admission requirements. So you don't necessarily have these credentials finished the day that you submit that application, but you know how to meet them and you will understand what is the criteria for when I start my program at Lakehead. So undergrad students were looking for successful graduation from an academic post-secondary school program or the equivalent. We're also looking for the Canadian equivalent of a 70% overall final average. And then depending on your program study, there may be program-specific prerequisites. So once again, coming back to this idea of understanding admission requirements, you may not have successfully graduated from your academic secondary school yet, and that's okay. We'll look for that, of course, that you do complete that before joining us at Lakehead. So maybe you graduate in May or June. However, you don't need to actually satisfy that requirement until after you've completed that and before your program starts. So you can still apply today and send in progress transcripts. And we've done this for quite some time, so we know how to read those transcripts and best support you and share details about your best next steps forward. For our graduate students, we're looking for successful graduation with an accredited university degree equivalent to that of Lakehead University's four-year degree. We'd also be looking for the Canadian equivalent of a minimum of 75% or a 3.0 on a 4-point scale. And then once again, depending on your program of study, we may require program-specific prerequisites. Now, meeting English language proficiency requirements, there's a wide range of ways to satisfy that requirement. This will help us ensure as the team that's going to welcome you to Canada, that you'll be successful in an English language institution and won't have any difficulties making that transition. Now, for undergrad students, you have five different options. The first few are the most common or popular. However, we have options for this very reason to give you that choice. Number one, recent study in an English language school system. On the next slide, we'll actually chat about how long that study has to be. Number two is the successful completion of one of the approved language tests with required minimum scores. Once again, I'll chat about those minimum scores and which tests are the most popular. You could complete Lakehead's academic English program through our English Language Center. You could actually complete one of our approved Pathway Partners ESL programs. Or it could be through your successful completion of senior level English courses. For grad students, we're looking for 3 years of full-time recent study in an English language school system at the post-secondary level. So most likely your undergraduate degree that you're completing right now before you move into that master's program here at Lakehead. Looking for that to be completed in an English school system. We will also accept successful completion of one of the approved language tests with the required minimum scores. Or, of course, you can also complete Lakehead University's academic English program. So coming back to this idea for undergrad students, recent years of study could be a wide range of institutions. If you're coming right out of high school, we're going to look for 3 years of full-time study at a high school where English is the language of instruction. However, English does not need to be the official language of the country. So you could be coming, for example, from China, And of course, your first language is Mandarin. However, if you're studying in an English language school system or an international school where it's delivered wholly in English, then you would satisfy that requirement if you've been there for 3 years of full-time study. If you're coming out of college or university, so transferring to Lakehead, we will be looking for either 1 year at university or 2 year at the college level, where once again, English is the language of instruction. However, it's also going to require that you are coming from a country where English is the official language. So transferring from a college or university in the United States, in the United Kingdom, here in Canada. Those are just a few examples. Of course, there's English speaking countries around the world. So you may satisfy that requirement. You can always share that letter of indicating the language of study from your institution with our admissions team, and we'll make sure that we review it and understand it. If we have any questions, we know where to find you, of course, and we'll follow up with you. As I noted, there's other ways to satisfy that English language proficiency requirement, and that could be through one of the popular ESL tests, so IELTS, TOEFL, and Duolingo. These are the most common. However, we do accept even more, Cambridge, PTE, the list goes on. So please check out our website if you would like more options or a bit more flexibility in terms of which one you would like to complete, if that's the best route forward for you. We do have minimum scores for all of our ESL tests, so you can see on the screen the common scores or the general minimum scores. I will note that programs such as nursing, Juris Doctor, 2 years Bachelor of Education, as well as select graduate programs like education, health sciences, psychology, and public health, pardon me, they actually have higher requirements than what's listed here. So just keep that in mind that if I named one of the programs you're interested in, you would require stronger English language proficiency to ensure that you'll be successful in your studies here at Lakehead. And now applying online, of course, application deadlines is the first thing that probably comes to everyone's mind. Like, did I meet the deadline? Did I miss it? So you can always come to our website here at lakeheadu.ca/apply dash now. It's at the top right of your screen. We have the deadlines posted right there on that website. However, I will note to be included in the first round consideration for fall 2025 or September intake, you should apply by all of the following dates on the screen that are bolded. Let me note. So nursing has already passed. First round of consideration has been completed. They are still accepting applications until the program is filled, though, so you can always still apply. Now that that deadline has passed, so they can close that application without warning. So if you are considering an application for fall 2025, now is the time to submit. If you are applying to essentially any other undergraduate program, with a few programs not there, not being taken into consideration, your deadline will be March 1, 2025. So coming up just a month from now, pardon me, just a few days from now, your deadline is fast approaching. For our graduate students, international applicants are recommended to apply by February 1 for first round consideration. Select programs have closed, while others are still accepting applications beyond this deadline. And once again, we'll accept applications until programs are filled. So first round consideration for undergrad students for most programs is still coming up in a few days here. Aside from that, though, first round consideration has been completed for nursing and a vast majority of our grad programs. However, they are still accepting applications. So it's not too late if you're looking and you think September 2025 sounds good to me. I think I'm ready to join Lakehead. You can still certainly consider that. If you would like to check out program specific deadlines and especially some of those grad programs, if you're like, oh, but it's almost been a month since they closed that or first round consideration is done. I wonder if it's still open. Head over to our website, lakeheadu.ca/programs, and check it out. You'll be pleased, I'm sure, to see. Right now, select programs which have closed for grads would include psychology, public health, nursing. And I think that's all right now. I'm going off of memory. So that's why I always encourage students check our website. That's the most up-to-date resource as it should be. And last but not least, submitting documents. So these are all things that are helping you prepare for understanding what's next when I apply to Lakehead, or what will I require to apply for a program at Lakehead. Undergrad students will look for your official transcripts, perhaps your English test scores if you are going to do an ESL test, and there may be select program specific documents. Pretty straightforward though. For our grad students, it's also, in my opinion, pretty straightforward. We'll require official transcripts, proof of degree, English test scores, and then required supporting document will vary by program. So it could be a CV, it could be a statement of intent, it could be the computer science backlog form. There's a wide range of required supporting documents by program. But once again, it's pretty straightforward. And once I actually show you the graduate portal, it's pretty clear what tasks you'll need to complete. But first, let's dive into the undergraduate application guidelines. So if you will, join me by heading over to lakeheadu.ca/apply-now, or maybe adding a bookmark to this, jotting it down, taking a screenshot of this page. This is the page where you're going to want to begin from, and that will get you started and give you direct access to our graduate, or pardon me, our undergraduate, as well as our graduate application portals. Now, before you apply, there's a few things that you should probably do. Number one is select at least two program options. So if you right now are considering business perhaps, but you also have a desire or a passion for economics, maybe there's your two program options. If you only have one narrowed down, maybe your program has multiple options or multiple pathways. You can consider that as two options. But with the one cost of applying, you get those two options. So we always encourage use them up, and make sure that you are being open to variety here. You also should allow for at least 20 minutes to complete the full online application. I always say it's best to get it started now, complete it in one sitting if possible, and then it's done. And it's with us, and we're already processing it. You've started the process officially. You can save our applications and return to them and complete them at a later date. But we don't necessarily encourage that unless you're waiting for documents or you're waiting for clarification on something. Only because if you don't come back to it, or if you forget to finish it off, that could be missed opportunities in terms of having our admissions team consider your application, review it at a quicker pace, and so much more. And last but not least, of course, have your payment method ready. That's the factor that will get it through to our system and have it in front of our admissions team. When you go to the website and you actually land on the application portal, you'll see a page that looks very similar to this, if not nearly identical. You'll scroll down to the part that says create account, so you can see that towards the bottom of the screenshot. Create account, you'll of course only create an account if this is your first time filling out an Ontario University application. If that's the case, of course, you're then going to be requested to provide your given name, middle names, family name, date of birth, email address. These fields are really important. In my opinion, this stage of the process is one of the most important because there's a few things to take into consideration. First name, middle name, and last name. Those three names, whatever they are to you, should match your travel documents. So grab your passport, perhaps when you're applying, and make sure, okay, what names are listed on my passport? In many cases, we know students have multiple family names, for example. So if you have multiple last names listed on your passport, make sure you include them on here. When you actually start your program here at Lakehead and you're on campus, if you would like to update your name with us and you want to perhaps drop something or just change it a little, you can do that. But this is important in this stage that it matches all of your legal documents. And this is related directly to your immigration process. We want to make sure that all of the letters, all of the communications we've sent to you throughout your application is going to match when you arrive at the border and you're trying to enter Canada. Date of birth, of course, that's important that it matches your passport, your travel document. Your email address. This is one part of the webinar where I always remind viewers, this is not your opportunity to put a junk email in there or put a spam email in there. This is an email that we're going to reach out to you. We're going to communicate with you about your application. We're going to share important and critical information with you. So it's something that you'll need to verify actually through a link sent to that email. But more importantly, it's something that you will also need to monitor on a regular basis. So this should be an email that you're checking on a regular basis. The next stage of the setup is going to be creating a username and password. So personally, I do a combination of my first name and last name, and then my password. I try and switch it up. However, I do make it a more challenging password to protect my information. There are going to be criteria that this portal allows you to use and not use in terms of what characters, what numeric values you're allowed to use. So just keep in mind you can always click on the question mark beside each of the headers. So you can see on the screenshot, username and password both have that black question mark. If you click on that, it's going to do a pop-up window with help that will help guide you on how to create the best password or the best username. When you're all good to go, you can click Create My UAC account or OUAC account. It's going to give you a summary of what you've just shared. So you can see here, my information was listed. And then once I'm comfortable with what's listed, I click Create My OUAC account and we're off to the races. So let's take a peek at what that actually looks like. I'm going to shift gears here and we're going to go right to our website. Now you've seen on several slides, you've heard me say save, bookmark, do whatever you can to go to lakeheadu.ca/apply-now. If you forget to do that, if you don't do it, if you don't feel like doing it, that's okay. How to get there, quick and easy, right from the Lakehead U homepage. If you click on International here, it's going to bring you here. And this big purple button brings you to the exact same page. So once again, now you have access to our online application portal. So let's click undergrad to begin and we will check it out. So I'll sign in here using my credentials just so that we can get started. This first page is going to be your welcome page. It's going to have a few more details about your application and all things that you might need to know. Then we'll proceed to the introduction now. There's two options always, and on every page within the undergrad portal. You can always go to the bottom and proceed to the next page, or you can go to the left-hand navigation and proceed by clicking through or jumping ahead. This page is our introduction. So once again, gives you a bit more information about Lakehead University. And when you're ready, you can click Browse Programs. This is the page that is going to be the beginning of your application. So you can actually select programs right from here. I would like to remind viewers, Indigenous access programs are relevant only to Canadian Indigenous populations. So if you are looking to join us here at Lakehead, you're going to be looking at most of our degree programs. So we have quite a few, to say the least. You'll want to select, of course, whatever one is the best fit for you. So for example, if you know you're going to study business and you will be asked to select a major at the outset, I will note, because I'm a proud graduate of the business program, you don't have to stick to the major you select. It just simply asks you to choose from year one, because you actually can start to then change your courses based on which one you may wish to pursue. So while we're here, let's go ahead and select business marketing. Now this applies when you click on any one of those degree program options. Each of these pages is going to have a similar approach. You can view admission requirements, you can visit the Lakehead University website, and sometimes there's an option here to view program details, which will bring you, all three will bring you to our website and give you more details as per stated. But what's most important is this next section, and this will help populate when you want to start at Lakehead and so much more. So you can see it's already selected my program code, my program title. My date of enrollment, of course, is going to be September 2025. Expected course enrollment, it will be full-time for international students. And year level, there's two options. First year means you're joining us right from high school. You've never completed any post-secondary courses or degrees before. Advanced standing essentially is our alarm bells to say, oh, this student has completed post-secondary education. And in your case, it's when you would like us to know that you have done so, and we will assess those courses for transfer credits. It is something that's required, so you don't have a choice whether or not to declare that. If you have completed post-secondary courses, you should be adding that information. So let's go ahead and we'll say we are advanced standing here. Once again, that means we've completed some post-secondary courses. You can see it's added in my program choices page. I have one option here. I have the option to go back and add another program here. And like I said, we encourage you adding multiple programs. You do get two for the price of one, essentially. So let's go down here. So, like I said, maybe I'm interested in business, but I also think economics would be cool. So, here we are. We're looking at economics. This is where you see that additional program details is now available. So, if I open that, it launches within our website, and you can learn more. Your expected date of enrollment, once again, we'll do September. Now we are being asked, what is our major of interest? So you can see I could do an economics and political science degree in 3 years. I could do an arts degree that this one would most likely be 4 years. I could just do an economics degree, or I could even do resource and environmental economics, which is a science degree. Let's go ahead and do resource and environmental economics. That sounds fun to me. And then we'll select advanced standing once again. So save program. Now you can see both programs are listed here. Perhaps in the time that you've been building your application, you've been adding your information, or perhaps maybe when you come back, you're like, well, I've thought about it, and I actually think I would rather do economics rather than business. You can always reorder your choices by simply clicking this drop down. You can see now business is number two, and I'll change economics to number one. Once I've done that, I can under order your choices, click save, and automatically economics is now listed as number one at the top here. So moving forward to the next page, we'll go to the bottom here and click proceed to personal information. You can see it's pulled in some of my information from that setup form. It's added my first name, my last name. If you would like, you can add your title. If you have a preferred name that is different from your legal name, that is, you can add that here. If you have a former last name or a former family name, please include that so that makes sure that we can match any of your old transcripts with a different last name to your current application here at Lakehead. This applies to students typically that are married now and have since changed their last name or perhaps have changed their last name for other purposes. You can do your gender, your date of birth, identifying as a First Nations or status or non-status Inuit or Métis person. That is once again the Canadian Indigenous populations. We'll ask you to clarify whether or not either your parents or guardians have attended university or college. And then we'll ask for some citizenship information. So you can see here, the last time we did this, I did a study permit, which is what most of you will be, but set country of citizenship, let's switch it up here. Let's do Ghana. And if not born in Canada, your date of entry into Canada will most likely be the August 2025. That is the month right before school starts in September. Most students arrive at least a week, if not 2 weeks early, just to get settled and settle in and avoid any of that jet lag affecting their first few classes. And your first language will most likely be English, but of course, select or input whatever is the most applicable. When you're ready, save and continue. It will give you a summary of those choices, and then you can proceed to contact information. This is where you'll be asked to list your home address, mailing address, and a phone number. You've already provided your email. You can see in this case, I've verified that. Yours won't say verified until you've actually done the process to verify. They'll send you an email to your account. You'll click on a link, sign in, and it's simple as that. For your mailing address, if we were to go in and start with home, for example, you can click here. So we're going to say that we live in Ghana, and then the province or state is only applicable to Ontario, pardon me, Canadian provinces or United States of America states. So you will not select anything here. I'll just verify. Yep, there is something here in a different section, which I'll clarify in a moment. Address line one, of course, that could be required or will be required, postal code or zip code, depending where you live, your city. And then I will note if you can receive mail at your home address, all you have to do is click this box, my mailing address is the same, save and continue, and then that will complete both of these forms. So you only have to do it once, which is nice. And then your telephone number. Adding your telephone number is pretty straightforward. You select the type, mobile, perhaps, And then we ask you just to include the numeric value. So no dashes, no number symbols, no plus symbols, just the numbers will be fine for us. So proceeding to the next stage, applicant type, a vast majority of you will be this option right here, international student applying for a full-time undergraduate program. If another option matches better, please select that appropriately. And then it will ask you if you've contracted the services of an accredited academic agent. If you say no, you do not need to complete the next 5 boxes. If you do say yes, though, all of those will be required. So you'll need to include your agent name, and most likely, if you are working with an agent, they will be doing this for you or assisting you. So they'll put their name, they'll know their agent ID that's specific to Lakehead. They'll of course list their branch office and their email. However, you as an applicant then would be required to declare that you do release any of your application information to the named agent. So once again, we'll click no just so we don't have any required fields. Then it's going to ask you if you've previously applied for or even previously registered at Lakehead. Registered for courses, that is. So if it is yes to either one of those, just provide the year so that we can match any of your old applications and not duplicate your file here at Lakehead. When you're done, save and continue. This one is going to give you an overview or a summary, and then you can proceed to your academic background. This is the portion of your application where you're going to add all information related to the institutions you've attended in at least one or more secondary or post-secondary courses. So institutions could include, but are not limited to, I should say, regular day schools, private schools, night schools, summer schools, online schools. You don't need to include institutions where you have home high school registered for your courses. So board virtual schools, dual credits, specialist high school majors, e-learning through consortium. That's not required in this instance. We'll be looking for those other schools I previously mentioned. When you're ready, you can add your institution. And let's begin. So first, we'll start with high school is our institution type. Just assuming, of course, everyone's completed high school, especially if you're coming into an undergrad program. So let us know where that is. You'll be asked to select a start date. So let's say I started in 2020 and I started in September. And then I graduated. Let's say I'll finish up in 2025 and I'll be done in May. Simple as that, it gives you more information. Pardon me, it will help us confirm when your transcripts are received, exactly who this is for, and us will be able to verify that information as well. Your institution location. So this is where you actually select a country. So if we were to select Ghana, you can actually see that a list here of institution names is populated right from Ghana. So if I found mine, which is a very big list. So let's say if I was at the New Nation School first campus, that's all I have to do. I don't need to complete any more steps related to the institution itself. I do need to complete more information related to the studies, the degree type, all of that. But the institution is done. We have that information here at Lakehead. Perhaps though your institution is not listed, and you can see there's more information here about that. But just to show you, if you scroll all the way to the bottom and you say not in list, that will actually populate a new section, unlisted institution. So you'll be required to include the name, the country, the city, address line. Pretty straightforward, simple, hopefully. Highest year level achieved, this is going to be unique based on the curriculum. So whatever one best fits your curriculum. Field of study, if applicable, of course. Diploma or degree type, once again, curriculum specific. If you can't find yours here, you can scroll towards the bottom and find other. Degree, diploma or degree length, you can let us know here. Diploma, degree, conferred status or status. So conferred means it's been completed. Expected means you will complete it. Not expected means you're not finishing your studies. So for our transfer students or applicants, you're going to probably select not expected for any of those college or universities you've attended. For high school students, if you've already wrapped up your studies, though that's conferred. If you're going to wrap it up In this example, like I said, we'll finish high school in May 2025. That's going to be expected. Only if you're sharing and adding information details or institution details for post-secondary or CGIP institutions, then you would include your diploma and degree date. When you're done, save and continue. Here you can see I have quite a few errors in this form, so I need to address those before it's actually added. But we'll skip ahead and we'll jump to the next page or the next section. Once you've added all of your academic background, you can make a transcript request if you are participating or joining us from another Ontario post-secondary institution. Otherwise, any school transcripts outside of Ontario should be forwarded directly to Lakehead University. It is the role and responsibility of the applicant to connect with their current institutions and get those documents sent to us. Last but not least, you're going to review and submit. So you can see I have quite a few errors, so I will not be able to submit this application today. But this is your opportunity to do that final check and balance. Make sure you've completed everything, reviewed information. You'll then need to agree to the terms, read the applicant declaration and verify, and then you'll proceed to the payment. At that point, you're ready to, of course, begin your journey to Lakehead. So I hope that helps everyone better understand the undergraduate side. But now we're going to shift gears and chat about the graduate application. And before I do that, I do want to just check out some of the chats and questions already. We'll come back to some of those later on. We do have a section of today's webinar dedicated to the live Q&A. But first, let's chat about grad application guidelines. Once again, you can head over to lakeheadu.ca/apply-now if you would like. Before you begin your application, we encourage you have your program option selected, of course. Have your supervisor name ready if applicable. So if you're joining us for a thesis-based program, portfolio-based program, essentially anything that is research heavy and not necessarily course-based. No course-based programs require a supervisor. You should have someone in mind and perhaps one that is ready to support you. We would encourage you again to allow for up to 20 minutes to complete the online application and have your online payment method ready. So I will shift back to the website here, lakeheadu.ca, and refresh everyone's memory if you didn't save that link, but you are looking to get there easily. Up here, click International, and this big purple button, Apply Now, will bring you to our page. On here, you can see the second button is Apply Now, Graduate Programs. Once we click that, it's going to bring you to the online application form. This is for everyone that has not completed an application here at Lakehead University before. You'll fill out this form, so you'll include your first name, middle name, last name, previous last name at this stage, date of birth, social insurance number that's only applicable if you've ever worked in Canada before. You'll include your email address, which is critical because we actually send your login details to this email after completing this form. We'll ask if you've ever attended, applied, or even been employed by Lakehead University, and then we'll also ask you if you are working with a recruitment agent. So once you have completed that, you'll get login details, but if you already have those login details, so maybe you've already completed this step and you're looking to come back to the application to complete it. At the top right here, you can see sign in. And then it's going to bring you to Lakehead University's sign-in page. So I already have my passwords all populated. So we'll sign in, check out mine. This next screen, no one else will see. Of course, I am on both sides or both ends of the portal. I will show you the applicant side, of course, today. So you can see I have no applications right now. So it's time to go and view our programs and decide what we want to apply for. You can search programs. So let's say I wanted to explore something to do with computers. You can see computer science came up, electrical and computer engineering, civil engineering. Perhaps I don't want to search, I just want to browse, but this is a little overwhelming. I want to see a list. You can change the format. It's pretty user-friendly in terms of checking it out. You can scroll through this. And let's pause here and say, select any one of these. Let's go kinesiology. When you open any one of these programs, it's going to bring you to the program page first. Once again, these are pages that help you better understand what does the program entail. is it the right fit for me? And it should be at this point that you make the determination whether or not this is a good match. And if it is, you can click the green apply button. And that actually kicks off your application. You can see an application number was generated for me. You can see my tasks are now applicable and so much more. So if we go into pre-application questions, there's going to be select fields that you can see only because I'm logged in. So I'll scroll past those. First, you should see the student status, so you'll be international. Select your program. So do you want to do the Masters of Science in Kinesiology, or would you like to add a specialization with gerontology? Let's go ahead and add that specialization. Are you a current Lakehead University undergrad student? No, we'll say we're not. Intake, we're going to join in September. We're going to join in 2025. It's going to ask me, okay, what options would I like to take? This, in this case, is two options, thesis or course base. Yours may not have any options, or it may have more options. So always make sure that you're selecting which one is the most appropriate. So, for example, let's say at the beginning I'm doing course base. That's the route I want to take. My stylo will be full-time and my campus would be Thunder Bay. At the bottom of each of your tasks within the graduate application portal, there's two options: save and continue editing or mark as complete. For every single one of our tasks, I would encourage students to save and continue editing because that allows you to come back and edit this. So you can see an error actually popped up here. It says Masters of Science with specialization in gerontology is thesis based only. So good to know. So let's go and change that to thesis based. Now you can see I do require a potential supervisor. So putting someone's name here and potentially your academic area of research or interest in research, listing that will help us. If you click save and continue, this information is now locked in, and you can see it has a half green circle over here on the tasks menu. But perhaps let's say we go to the application form next, and we'll come back to this other page. You'll need to list your current email, and unfortunately, you do need to include this information again. So we need your prefix, your first name, and it should be as shown on your passport if you're an international student. So first name, middle name, last name. Former last name, preferred name, chosen first name, chosen last name, date of birth, gender, Canadian social insurance number, contact information, so your mailing address, if you're at home. You'll complete it twice actually, so you'll put once here, and then you'll also do it again. If you're living outside of Canada or the United States, your province is going to be foreign, which is at the bottom, and your county is going to be not Ontario. So those two things will help you, of course, get through to the next stage oftentimes, and that's why we've added this note. It was difficult for students, a little confusing. Phone number, of course, you select the type and then you input that here. Save and continue editing. Once again, it's going to show this half green circle, but also I've missed quite a few questions that are required, so just keep that in mind. And then coming back, maybe you've had some more time thinking, you're like, oh, I don't think gerontology is for me. I'm just going to do the regular kinesiology. And you know what? I actually think I'd prefer to just do the course base. That's why we save and continue editing so that we can come back and make these changes before it's locked in. Because if you had marked that as complete, the entire form becomes locked and you would have to start all over again if you need to make a change. We also have tasks related to your official transcripts, so you can upload unofficial transcripts here. You can upload unofficial proof of degree here. Reference letters, in this case, are mandatory. We require at least one, but you could have a maximum of three. And then there's the submission fee. So once you click that, you're actually eligible to pay through here. So if you right-click this or you click it, it's going to open our payment portal. Once you've made that payment, you come back in, mark all your tasks as complete, and submit at the bottom here. And that will trigger our graduate studies team to start processing your application. Alrighty, folks, so that is a brief overview of the graduate application. Now it's everyone's favorite time of most webinars, and that's the live question and answer period. So let me head over to the Q&A and see what I can do. And I want to thank Paula, who's working hard behind the scenes answering some of these questions. I'll go back, and in the meantime, while we wait for anyone to submit final questions, I'll read some of these other outstanding ones just to help other viewers understand some of the general things. This one from Deep Patel says, is Pierce English test valid for admissions? It absolutely is. It is listed on our English language proficiency requirements page. And those specific criteria for the Pearson English test are listed there as well. Folks, before I let you go, though, I do want to take this opportunity to remind you to follow us and stay connected. You can find us at Lakehead International on Facebook, Instagram, as well as YouTube. Don't hesitate to reach out. You can find us on social. You can also find us by email. welcome@lakeheadu.ca is our main email. But at this point, it looks like we've answered everything.
I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, I want to encourage you to comment below or connect with us on social media. We can be found at Lakehead International on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Thanks for watching once again, and hopefully we'll see you at the next live webinar. Bye for now.